Hello, everyone. Here we are. Healing episode 4. Nice smile, guys. That was a nice smile.
Oh, sorry.
It was from everyone. It was like, it's right now. Nothing wrong with smiles themselves, but...
Are you sure?
I mean, it might be a problem for some people. Glad that we could all make it again here today.
Moving on.
Moving on. Last time on D&D, Healing Heist Edition.
We won.
They won. So there was a time where they were getting together with Merrick and everyone, getting everything all settled. They were accepted into the crew. And then they had some time to, I hope everyone leveled up anyway, but they had some time to level up and pick a feat or a skill that someone would likely have. I'm pretty sure everyone did that one. Yes, we're at level 6.
Yes, we're level 6.
We're good.
Perfect. Sounds like everyone did that.
Yep.
And then at that point, we all moved on from Merrick's hideout in the woods, and everyone took kind of their time, taking turns to get to the actual city you guys were planning on doing the first heist at. That city was Tenatra, depending on who you talk to, because you were planning on stealing the Helm of Teleportation.
Leave my die alone.
Mine died.
On your way there, you were still in contact with a number of different people, and you did find an overturned wagon where you found a couple paintings.
Yes, and they're in my lantern.
A couple paintings and a lantern. And then you did stop to visit a friend in the capital city, briefly on your way through to get to Tenatra.
And I bought an outfit.
Yes, and you bought a very nice outfit. Well, you bought a good, functional, and matching outfit from a store, a actual store.
Real life store.
Real life store. No,
Like
no
I
protection.
actually
No
did it.
clothesline stealing.
If you didn't know,
Yeah.
there are stores that sell just clothes. Who would have thought?
Didn't know.
Now we know. And you once you got there, again, there was kind of an increase of guards and things like that. The closer to major cities you got, and less in between. But you did finally get to this city. Now this is as you're getting it into sight, you see that it's a coastal city, which you already knew. But from your vantage point here, you can see that it's broken up into different sections. And then you can see that there is actually a pretty large cathedral in the center that seems somewhat rounded from your current. But you can see that it's actually a lot of people are getting to the city gates. There's walls that go around the outside. You can see anyway that there's some walls that go around the outside of it. Outside the walls, there are still buildings and things like that almost look like they're just kind of overflowing from maybe a main city area. But you can see a lot of people are flowing towards some main gates kind of at the outskirts of all the walls. It looks kind of octagonal from your point of view here.
Cirrus turns to Vincent. I thought the crew was supposed to be very exclusive. I thought there were only like 15 of us or something.
Oh, yeah, but these are just regular people. Is that what you're asking?
Oh. I just figured we were going that. Never mind, sorry. Misunderstanding. I guess we know where we're headed, right? You
Yeah.
checked in with the people who
Yes,
ahead of us and
The
One
night
person.
before, you were working with who in front of you was that?
It was Bill.
With Bill? You were speaking
Who
with
was the
Bill
first
directly,
one? Yeah,
right?
that was Bill, and then the people behind us. I was speaking with what's the observant halfling's name again?
Corin.
Corin Brandy. Perfect. Sounds good. So you were kind of warned they kind of just said it in a passing, but you remember that they did say in passing that there was a festival happening at maybe around the time you'd be getting here, but they didn't know the specific time you'd be getting to this location. But they did mention that there actually is a festival that was likely going to be happening, an ink festival happening around the time you guys might be getting. And they also told you of an inn. All that they told you is that there's the inn, the primary inn in Octon 8 is what they told you.
Okay.
Very.
So, I hope the guard can tell us which one's Octon 8. Unless they have 8s everywhere. Is that the name of the inn? The primary inn? Or is there...
Is now.
Okay. It also... Okay, the primary inn. Okay. First thing we have to do is get inside the city.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of people doing just that, but all the gates you see are open. There appears to be one at each of the main sides of the walls. One large gate at each of the...
On each of the octants walls.
So it seems,
What we assume.
based on what he told you,
Yeah.
a pretty good assumption.
Well, better go join the crowd. Where are we together or not together for this part?
If you don't mind, I'll be your sibling. And I make myself look somewhat like you.
Oh yeah, you can just. Okay. Fine.
Briefly, everyone was confused.
Yes.
Well, I was like reaching for my makeup kit.
But we can make ourselves look slightly different too. Because that might be a good idea.
Oh, we can be brothers. Talia? You want to be our brother too?
I mean,
I do have an extra pair of traveling clothes.
I think sister might be more accurate.
Okay, that's fair. We can
Okay.
do that.
Work your magic, boy.
Oh yeah.
So before we get too into crowd,
Yeah, we like pause like at the top of a hill and like the lighting and pull out a mirror and like hold this mirror at exactly this angle. Thank you very much. And just I need you to reflect some light on her face, but not too much light. And would you like me to roll a skill check for my use of this disguise kit, or do we want to just hand wave it?
On this one, we're gonna hand wave it.
Okay.
Later on, there may be time to. But for now.
I am specifically thinking back to my memories of my cousin, like, and like the way that like her eye shape is different, and things like that. Just trying to
Perfect.
be as subtle as possible.
Sounds good. With that, you kind of are thinking back on Layla. You have a pretty good memory. It's been a while, but it's a pretty good memory of kind of the differences between yourself and her and how to make her look a little.
Yeah.
You're able to do it pretty competently. And if we had been rolling, I would have given.
Thank you.
Um,
Oh, I think though once I finish, I step back and go, yeah, you look just like. Yeah, you do. You look just like her. Anyway, let's go.
While you're doing my makeup, I asked you what the heck a festival is.
Well, it's
What?
it's a party.
I don't.
it's a time when lots of people get together and have a lot. Like we've been to parties before, right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
imagine we've been to parties.
We've crashed like 3 of them.
So a festival is like a big party for a whole city that sometimes lasts more than one day.
you've likely been to a couple market days as well.
So
Lots of people gather together and they all get drunk and have like colorful banners and like do things that are themed around stuff. It's really cool.
This sounds amazing. Let's go.
and that's why we're here at the city for the festival.
Yes.
Anybody asks?
If anyone asks, we're here for the festival.
Was there another reason we were here?
Not anymore.
Oh man. Sounds good. Going into
I make myself look older than him.
Oh, nice. Big brother.
Yes. Have a nice beard.
I do not.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting you to have one, but I mean it's possible.
Just in case.
So as you guys are going in, they kind of you can see that when you get to which gates would you probably go to, just whichever's are closer.
Yeah, so I guess like the north.
East
I don't
or
remember
west?
exactly which direction. Northeast, I
Northeast.
think,
I mean,
probably.
There's kind of 3 of them that are pretty close to you, but there's one road that kind of goes directly towards one of the.
Yeah.
Unless one of the closer gates, like if we're going towards that one, if the other ones are shorter, we'll go to those ones.
They don't necessarily. They look like they're all getting close to the same amount.
Okay.
Same amount of attention. So moving forward towards the gates, as you get closer, you see that there's one. There's kind of 2 lines that are starting, or 2 general areas that are starting. One of them is generally people with wagons going through the main large gate, and then there's also a smaller side door kind of a thing that is going quite a bit quicker than the wagons. But going through, it goes through the line. As you get to the front, the guard just kind of stops you and says, "State your business," and he has like a checklist in front of him.
We're here for the festival.
Nods. How many?
3.
You see him do a quick mark, and he says, he like looks up and like rubs his face and says, "Any goods or any other paraphernalia you'll be using, or any entertainment you'll be providing while you're within the city?"
I don't think so.
I don't think I'll be performing for anything, but I do have a lute with me, just for my own entertainment.
Are you going to be looking to perform in front of a crowd for the festival at any
Oh,
point?
No.
He nods and says, and he says,
You have nothing to declare, I think.
yeah, he was,
There's no bananas in my suitcase.
Mm,
and he says,
just take.
he pulls out a quick map for you. Or like he hands you a piece of paper, and on it you do see a very basic map of the Octans, it looks like. He points to the one that has a 4 on it and says, "You're entering through this Octant."
Through number 4?
He nods.
Okay.
He says, "There's a number of different things that are going on as you're in the city." He points to both 4 and... He points to 4 and 3 at the same time and says, "The majority of the celebrations will be taking place in the 4th and the 3rd Octans." That's where all of the wares, goods, things, and he just kind of lists off general like marketplace things are going to be. General stands are going to be in 4. More of the local ideals and more of the local items are going to be in 3. And then he gestures over to the first Octant and states, "There will be free samples of the famous octopus steaks at the first Octant." And he kind of gestures and says, "And if you go to the second Octant, there is a free admission to the Deep Sea Museum.
Oh.
And last but not least, there will be a play at the amphitheater in Octant that is going to be at sunset.
Oh,
As soon as the sun is no longer seen is when they're going to start, is what I've been told."
and with that, I am quite interested in the play, being a musician myself. How would I get to Octany? Like, looking at this map.
Oftentimes, the easiest way is to go through the central hub, which is just the cathedral. You can't miss it. He kind of points, and you can see the tip of the cathedral from where you're at, and says there's gates that go to the cathedral. Leave there. Each of the Octans is numbered. At any doors that you see, it will tell you what Octant you're walking into.
Nice. Nice and simple.
He says, inside each Octant, you might want to ask for directions, but to get to the Octant, you should have a pretty easy way of getting there. You could also walk through 3rd, 2nd, and 1st Octants to get to the 8th Octant, but If you're looking for quick, go straight to the
Well, you said the play's at night, right?
The play is going to be tonight at. They said sunset, but it sounds like it's at the dawn of night or the beginning of night. As soon as the sun is fully set, is when they said they're going to start.
After.
Mhm.
So that means we have time for a steak and a museum visit. Right, sis?
There's other things in each of them. I don't have a list of every activity that's happening everywhere, but that's some of the things that we've been told to let you know. Now, before I can let you in, there is a quick number of things. First, if you are magic users, if you use any magic against someone and cause them to do anything against their will, that is against the law, and you will be taken up for the full measure of the law. Is that to be understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This falls under the same jurisdiction as most towns, right? I name a couple of the cities.
He nods and he says, any major city will definitely enforce this. Smaller towns, it is still technically against the law, but
Yeah.
it's not as easily.
Yeah, we're quite familiar with most of these laws. It's always good for a refresher, but
He kind of shrugs and says, especially for festival time, we make sure everyone entering knows. The last one is, of course, the same. Anyone who does any injury to someone, magical or otherwise, will also be arrested to the full extent of the law.
guess I can't make fun of you anymore. Sorry.
The guard shakes his head and just says, at this point, you're free to enter. Enjoy the festival.
Thank you for your service.
Have a good day.
He kind of waves and he finishes checking off on that paper and flips it over onto the bottom side.
And he starts it over.
However,
Moving on.
as soon as you walk in, walking into the fourth octant there, you see that this place is just full of different stands and shops and things. A lot of people you see are all are wearing white shirts or white clothing, but they have splashes of different inks, it looks like, or dyes that are spread onto their shirt in different kind of you could say tie-dye, but it doesn't look like it's quite as organized as tie-dye. But you just see lots of people. You see quite a few of them have these little tubes where they're just spraying colored waters out of these tubes, as well as quite a few people who look like they're enacting magic to make the water dance and turn into different shapes. Things is the first kind of thing you see as you walk in, as well as lots of food carts just right inside. But what is your guys' plan from here?
Walk to the first food cart.
Instant food carts.
You walk to the first food cart and you see basically just a whole bunch of fruits that are all cut into different ways, styles, and all sorts of different colors.
I buy the most festival-y, the most generic one. If you're at the festival, you have to buy this thing.
The unfried dough.
There's no unfried dough here.
No.
Or I'm sure there is unfried dough, but it's not for sale.
The Avatar was boiled in oil.
Yes, I buy me the most fruit synonymous with this thing, which may be nothing.
There is a number of different locations that are selling a number of different things. Just happened to be the first one. The thing that you're seeing the most of is kind of is a lot of seafood locations, similar to sushi, but not quite the same. Just lots of fish cut up and served.
I just buy the most generic fruit then.
Maybe more like poke.
Okay.
A lot of poke is being served, but they're just calling it.
I gotta save up for the octopus steak, so we're just buying fruit.
Yes, Dad.
You get a number of it. Basically, every location you go to is somewhere between 1 and 3 coppers for whatever they're selling.
Okay.
3 coppers more for things like the meats and sushi kind of style places. Most of the just plain fruit is about a copper, and there's some places that are basically it's kind of an idea of caramel fruit.
I'll buy like 5 coppers worth of food.
Okay.
Insert meats and fruit.
Insert meat and fruit here. Okay, done.
Insert meat and fruit here.
And a lot of them, it's mostly easy finger food, obviously, but a lot of them are just like platters of. A lot of the sushi, it's like poke, but instead of it being like 1 toothpick each, they basically just have a line of it like a kebab.
It's a kebab.
But
Yeah.
A sashimi kebab.
And this is because we've been having rations the whole time. Eat up,
he's
boys.
like, anything different than what I have been eating is perfect.
Yes.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, so I bought us a meal.
Nom nom.
Or I bought us a light snack. Because
Of course.
I slightly hesitate as we walk in the gates, and then I like insert myself between the two of them. Just like, like there wasn't a space there, but there is now.
Now there is.
This is where I'm going to be. And I get
Of course, yeah. Of course, as soon as you walk in, it's just lots of sound.
Toaster.
Like so much people celebrating. There's kind of music coming from many different like the little stands. It's kind of just like everyone just put a wagon somewhere, and some people are playing from a wagon, some people are selling from their wagons or little carts and things like that. But it's just this whole area just looks like it's full of it. And this area specifically doesn't seem to have a whole lot of set buildings. There are some, but a lot of it seems to be open road, and then some grassy areas. But it looks like this is generally set up to be open market kind of.
Nice. So we want to definitely get octopus steak and then go to the inn.
I would personally like the octopus steak. Maybe stop by that museum.
I've got to say, it would have to be a very large octopus to be able to slice steaks out of.
How much do I know about that?
I mean, the one thing that you knew, or at least that we mentioned last time, is that it is specifically known for its ink production from the giant octopus. That it's very highly protected near the cliffs of one of the.
But I definitely bring that up in conversation. Like, I wonder if they get it all from that one octopus.
I like.
I don't think it's necessarily special. I just think it's plentiful. Could be special. They can like say.
I like to pull out my book. A note in a margin. Good guess.
Yeah,
We can get matching tattoos.
I'm okay.
that
Okay.
sounds fun.
Tattoos. Festival tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are we following this
Yeah.
idea?
No, we're gonna
Okay.
go eat first.
I don't mind either way. I just need to know.
What was the stakes?
We can do that later.
Or they are in quadrant.
Two.
They're in quadrant,
Quadrant one.
One.
Octant one.
Octant. Sorry, yes, octant.
So we going through the festival?
I mean, we might as well.
So I mean, just tell me kind of the path you're going through. Are you planning on going like straight through the 4th octant to the center and then to 1, or going just kind of around the whole city?
we
We might as
probably.
well hit up the.
You can see that there's walls dividing each of the octants. From what you can tell, they just don't seem to be very large.
I'd rather go through the center.
Okay. We'll go through the center.
Yeah.
We can see festivities later.
Cool.
I would like to. I guess it's better to touch base early.
Yeah, and you guys did get here before noon, just so you guys know.
Mhm.
So, not that there's no time in the day. Moving to kind of the next area here. The whole time, if there's anything that you are kind of looking for in general, but it just kind of seems like everyone's celebrating. There is lots of drinks that are around, lots of all the drinks colorful as well, but you can see that they're in distinct cups. So there seems to have been some kind of rule to let people know that this is for drinking, for getting other people with their white shirts. There's also lots of places that are selling plain white shirts as well, and plain white dresses, plain white clothes. There's a number of different places that are selling those as well. But walking through, you just see that everyone, it looks like it's kind of a... It looks like people avoid splashing people who aren't in the white shirts. However, if anyone's in a white shirt, it looks like everyone's basically doing fair game and just basically getting them wet with the dyed colorful. But moving through the city, it looks like the craziest of the festivities seem to have been nearest the gate. And the further from the gate you're getting, it seems to be a little bit more calmed. It's the same kind of stuff, but there's a little bit more performers and a little bit less of just random people doing a lot. The closer in. Once you get to the center, you see a gate similar to the one you came into that looks like it's going in towards the cathedral.
Beautiful architecture.
But once you get to there, the gates are opened completely. It looks like they're just open. There's a couple guards standing there. They don't say or do a single thing.
Mm-hmm.
I get in, it's like 2, 1.
And you can just kind of see that there's a stylized number 1 of the gate to the one that you're walking.
Mm.
Once you go that way, it looks like there's not very many festivities that are happening in one. And it looks like this is a very high-end, rich-looking area.
Oh.
And there's only a couple people that are kind of meandering in the white and dyed clothing.
No, walking here, I wonder how much the steak actually costs.
Well, the guard said it was free.
Oh.
So, unless you could believe that a guard tasked with keeping order in the city lied about something.
Anyways, is there like steak signs?
No.
I asked one of the guards right before we enter like into the area. I'm like, so how do we find this steakhouse? Or is it just a street vendor?
He raises his eyebrow and he says,
I heard there
the
was-
octopus?
Yeah, the free octopus steak.
He nods and he says, he points up towards the ocean, and you can kind of see between a couple of other larger, rich buildings, a lighthouse that's just kind of poking above a couple of them. And he says, the easiest way is to get to the lighthouse, and you're gonna go just about 3 buildings. One sec.
Direction.
About 3 buildings west of it. North, 3 buildings northwest or so. But by the time you get to the lighthouse, you should
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
nods. And he says, "Yep, carry on."
Have a good day.
We're all so painfully polite to these guards. I hate it. Anyway,
You just kind of, if you're just continuing kind of in that general direction, you get there. It doesn't take too long. The lighthouse itself is pretty nice, and you do see that it's on the edge of a very large cliff. Not quite the edge, but it's by a very large cliff. You can just kind of see out to the ocean, and you can tell that there's no beach.
Very sheer.
Huh. Not too far away from that, you do see actually walls that aren't part of the octant. Very large walls that are about the same size as the octant walls, but definitely like kind of an outcropping, its own wall.
What do you suppose that is? As we were walking.
Walls.
Yes, but like, why would they have a separate wall that doesn't match their city? Weirdos.
You've seen some private walls as well, but most
Yeah.
of those were only about the size of, maybe 10 feet, and this one matches about the 15 to 20 feet of the actual octant wall's height.
Do they have a garrison here?
Not to my knowledge, but it could be private.
Oh.
It could be owned by some rich family who wants to keep a monopoly on the octopus.
I forget that,
Maybe it's just there to keep the water out.
no.
Or
The
maybe-
water's very much
Or
lower.
maybe it's there to keep.
Probably not. Now that you mention it,
Likely.
Now that you mention it, it's most likely some rich man's hovel.
Yes, a rich man's hovel.
Oh, steak.
That's the name of my new ska band.
You do, after discussing this while getting to there, you can definitely tell that a lot of people have been congregating in front of a building that looks like it's quite busy. You see that the building itself looks like it has just like 5 or 6 different lines all going to basically a vendor in front of the building that all look like they only have one.
I get in line.
Yeah.
Me too.
It doesn't take that long. They're seeming pretty efficient. You see a couple people like bringing up the cooked stuff from inside the building, just kind of distributing it through each of these places.
I'm going to Pappy's.
Once you get up there, you do see that they just kind of have these. They basically just have a big thing of dried seaweed wrapped around what you can guess is probably the octopus steak. It's not very big. It's maybe half the size of your palm. It looks like it's basically a glorified sample size.
So it's a filet mignon of
Octopus.
octopus.
Maybe, but yeah, it just looks like it's straight up is like half your palm size, about squared, and like it looks like for decoration there seems to be a sucker that's kind of put inside the seaweed with it, like an octopus suction cup on it, but like not part of the steak, but just next to it for decoration.
I'm just gonna try to figure out if this is this comes from the giant octopus, or are there just other octopus that make these steaks? I'm asking guests and the servers.
Yeah, the guests all look at you, and some of them seem to look at you like you're asking the silliest question and answer, well, yeah. And some of them look at you when you ask and they say, I don't know, maybe. But it just seems kind of,
Yeah.
eh. And then once you get to the servers, he assures you that this is from the giant octopus, sir. We save some every year for this festival specifically. Otherwise, it is what we sell at this restaurant exclusively.
So do they regenerate? Like, or does it regenerate? I don't. Or is it really
Is
that
there
big?
more than one?
There are many giant octopus in the ocean. We monitor their numbers very closely, and we take care of any of them that are getting too old for. We
Interesting.
then buy them. He kind of gestures towards the walls that you can see way off in the distance now. We purchase it directly from the manufacturer when the ink is no longer available, and we sell it as steak.
Well, thank you.
He nods. He says, "Only place you can get it," and he like kind of gestures to the building behind him.
What is it?
What is the
Does it have
restaurant's
a
name?
nice name?
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Mario's octopus.
Lasterio.
I don't know.
Makes it sound like an Italian.
Yeah.
Like Chef Tom's.
Chef Tom.
Chef Tom Bombadil.
No Bombadil.
Aww.
I might have to get back to you on that name for a
That's
minute.
okay.
It's
It's not that vital.
not.
But it would be something that I should have known, but did not act.
He's bounty.
It's not pertinent to the story.
Cece.
I mean, could it? be?
Held
I don't
coquina.
know. We already had that joke in a different
Flavor Town.
Flavor
Flavorton.
I mean, it's basically. Have any of you had octopus before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's basically what you would expect from octopus, but it does kind of have because it's so thick, it does kind of have more of a, looks like they were able to sear it a little bit on each side, but it kind of still feels like octopus in general. Just kind of different than we would have cooked it in our area.
And it is actually free.
Yes, that little portion size is free.
Does your character like it?
Your character very well.
My character loves it.
No, it doesn't have character work. No, my.
Based on random roll.
No. It's just about the worst thing I ever
Oh wow.
ate.
Throw up.
I probably like take it, like, I'm chewing it and I'm like,
You spit on the ground like that. Oh.
I think Sirius is just eating mechanically. He's been very moody ever since passing the
I pass it.
He's just thinking a lot.
Everyone else, it seems like there's a general feel of excitement from the people who are here. And you hear one of them talking about like how crazy expensive it is for this usually, but that they're always excited every year to once a year I get to have some without the. And one person's like, yeah, it costs almost as much as my house. Like other people are saying all sorts of crazy. This is rich people's.
This is not the kind of injustice
It
that I
depends.
came here to right.
Houses come in many sizes and prices, my friend.
Yeah, like the rich guy's hovel over there.
I bet he has a better home than that somewhere.
Probably.
Not that I know much about this.
That's the name of the restaurant now, the rich guy's hovel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
The octi joint.
Oxy joint.
Not just one, not just two, 8. All different. No. Anyways, you eat your
Moving
steak.
on.
The end, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's touch base at least. See if they need us to do anything.
Get an idea of the position of the sun. Yeah, let's get.
Maybe noon now. Maybe.
Yeah.
Off you head to the primary inn.
Yeah. This time we're just walking from one towards
Yeah.
the wall.
Yeah, so you're walking straight towards the wall. You see that the opening is kind of near to the third party wall that's there. You can just kind of see the tips of towers as well behind the third party's wall, and guards along them that do not look like city guards.
You're right. It is a price.
They're wearing black dyed leather armor. Is what most of them are wearing. Looks like good quality, but it looks like it's all mostly leather.
Is there a specific style of armor that like is similar to the church, or is this like completely a separate like you can
tell this
completely
is
separate?
not the church's armor style. Most of the church has metal armor
Oh, okay.
of some type, or at least maybe chain things like that. But this does not look like their armor. And it's only black. Typically, the church's armor would have some red or blue.
Red or blue.
Sometimes yellow, but there's usually some kind of insignias as well, and these guys are pretty much wearing like dark black feather.
It's not like they're really affiliated with each other, just by looks.
Correct.
No, these people might be pretty important.
Important enough for private military, yeah.
But you go through the gates. You can, as soon as you walk through, it's like a completely different place, is what it feels like. Yeah, it went from being kind of like buildings are very separated and very nice looking with like gated yards and things, to basically immediately going into lots of packed buildings right outside into the next octant. And kind of a feel of You've all been to the coast before. You kind of get that feel suddenly. It was almost like a stark difference between, oh, I feel like I'm in a harbor, to, oh, I'm in rich people.
Almost.
But oh, I guess most of the walled cities I've been in aren't like this.
I wouldn't know. You should take us to visit your home sometime.
Yeah. I hope you guys will come when it's time.
Of course we'll come. Why wouldn't we come?
Because of the monsters.
Oh, there are plenty of monsters here too.
You're right. So I see a
We
guard.
can take care of them.
He lets you know where the primary inn is.
That's
He,
exactly
he
what I'm
directs
asking.
you a little bit closer towards the docks themselves. There's a large building by the central dock in this octant.
Okay.
Perfect. We head there.
Oh yeah, we do.
Doesn't take you too long. It looks like it's a there's a big sign that just says the primary inn. And it just is it looks like it's not right on the beach or right on the dock, but you would definitely be able to see it from the dock. And you see quite a few good looking, let's say, clean cut sailors. A lot of clean cut sailors, it looks like, are kind of going in and out of the primary inn. Respectable sailors, sure. Any of those words would fit pretty well for the sailors that you're seeing go in.
Nice.
Going in, you see that it's a nicely decorated with lots of bells and paintings of octopus, and it's just it's a nice thing.
Yeah.
It's I wouldn't call it. You wouldn't think of a museum when you walked in, but it is nice, and it's well lit. But you see that there's kind of a there's an entryway in when you're walking in, and then there's someone kind of waiting the bellhop.
Do we have a specific phrase or something we were supposed to say when we got here? Or do we see anybody from our previous group?
You were told to tell them you were part of the Fair and Grey party.
I introduced us as part of the Fair and Grey party.
He nods and says, "Oh, right this way, right this way. They have private seating as well as living quarters near the performance."
Oh, wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of gestures you to follow him. Walks towards one end of this very large, past the entryway, kind of this very large dining and entertainment room. There's a large stage at one end, very nicely lit. And then kind of takes you towards a door to the right of that, where there's other doors. Directs you to one of them and says, "The Fair and Greys are in there, and the party has rented out all of these," and gestures to the rooms there, and says, "all of these rooms here for your viewing pleasure."
Wonderful.
Nods and says, "If you need anything, please feel free to come up front. I will assist you with anything you need."
We appreciate that. Thank you.
He nods and it just says, "Anything else?"
Not at this time.
He does kind of a little half bow and says, "Until then," and walks away.
And so there's one that's specifically like a common room in this group of... Or there's a seating area outside.
So he opens up a side door from the large common area, and it kind of looks like a private dining area.
Okay.
So it's not really like a lounging or anything like that. And then there's rooms all around the outside.
Is any of our group in the dining area right now?
Yeah, so all of the Fair and Greys are there. So you see the whole family.
Is that the bards?
The Bard family,
Okay.
yeah. You do see... No, you do not see Bill or Sykin.
They're working.
Or working men?
I don't think... Was anyone else ahead of you? Was there one other group
I
ahead
think
of
there
you?
was one other group ahead of us,
I
but I
think it
don't
was
remember which.
And so Nizam and the rest of the acrobatic team was ahead of you as well. You do not see any of them either.
So we see the Fair and Greys.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll go in, and after the door shuts, I'll drop my disguise.
As soon as you walked in, it looked like there was a sense of recognition for him, at least.
That's something I guess.
And then from there, probably. But As you walk in, they nod. They kind of tip their hats. They salute us. They give you
Salute the flute.
They salute the flute.
Moving on.
And they say, "How was the?" Let's see. Delantha says, "How was the trip?"
Reasonable.
Uneventful.
Do you know anything of paintings?
She kind of tilts her head and says, "Well, I've seen quite a few in my day. Are you asking for a recommendation?"
We just found some. I don't know what to do with them.
And by found, he actually means found this time.
I don't just steal.
they actually did fall off a wagon.
Well, they didn't fall off a wagon, but
They-
we found them in an abandoned wagon.
Rob kind of chuckles. I would speak with either Bill or Syken on that. They might have more of an expertise for found items.
And they might know how to offload them too.
Probably.
Are any of the rooms claimed already?
They gesture and say, "Those two, and that one." And he kind of points up. Two of them closest to the ones that the Fair and Gray's, or that the person told you was the Fair and Gray's room, and then points to one that's like way across from them. And there's like 4 other rooms.
I just go look in one.
It's a very nice room, and it basically opens up into its own living quarters. It has a seating area and then little rooms that go off from it from there. There's about 5 of them.
You know, this might as well be ours. Or are there smaller ones? Because we're one of the smaller groups that yell over my shoulder.
I look in one or the other.
You see basically. They all seem to be about that same size, same height.
Do you have any preference? You want the east wall, north wall, whatever wall? Okay.
Whatever.
I just go in the room I already
I
looked
just
in.
want a place to lay my head.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they're very nice rooms, all of them. They kind of have a little table for eating. They have a lounging area inside each of them. And then... that's...
Okay.
And then there's individual rooms. When you look in them, you see that they're nicely furnished, but they're very small. Basically, the size of the bed and wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I leave most of my stuff here.
Suffice.
Perfect. As you guys are kind of getting situated, Xander, looks like the son of those two, comes up and says, "Dad told me to let you guys know that Bill and Syken are doing their thing, and Nizam and their group currently entertaining the masses in one of the octaves." And just said, I don't know if they told Dad anything. And then kind of walks.
Thanks, Xander.
Did Merrick leave earlier? He hadn't left.
It seemed like he was likely going to be one of the last people to leave.
Yeah. So unpack a couple bags.
So yeah, unpacking bags, making our rooms set out.
Wash my clothes.
Perfect.
I
Sounds
pulled
good.
a pheasant.
The
From that I yeah.
Stuffed pheasant. Oh man, but we have like this little montage of us all like unpacking our stuff, and it like goes from me like carefully setting out this like kind of shrine thing where I've got like this embroidered cloth and I set my book down on it and a single candle and then smash cut to Talia's space.
Which is just a ramshackle,
Lots of
miscellaneous,
Unload everything.
eclectic, weird,
Bright
taxidermy
colored.
pheasant,
miscellaneous clothes
a
items.
leaf, a
It's a very nice
hanky
leaf.
that definitely did not belong to me at any point.
It's got like
What do
a
you mean?
monogram on it. It's
Oh,
like,
100%.
The letter G or something.
Has a symbol.
Of some sort on it. I've
Someone's family crest.
got a leaf. I've got some flour.
And then his room is a staff
Lantern.
with a lantern on it. It cuts to his room and it just shows a lantern in the room and that's it.
There's like my small pack that I carry like my everyday food in, just on the desk.
I have a little bag that looks fairly similar to this.
Of course.
It's like bejeweled and embroidered.
Yeah, I like the idea.
That I keep small rocks in.
It cuts from his room to her room, my room, back to her room. She's still like pulling out more.
Oh man. I like that. It's a full ritual really, except for your room.
Yeah. And I literally go out into our waiting area and I pull out the book that I copied his book into. And I'm like, okay, time to read a little more.
Gotta read this.
I've read it like 6 times. Haven't gained anything from it, in my opinion. But if it means something to my friend, it means something to me.
That's very sweet of you.
I do try to quote stuff, and I feel like I do it wrong a lot. Like I try to use your idiom.
He's like, yeah, you mean like the shadows on the walls, right? They tickle?
Yeah.
That's not.
And he's like, that's not how it goes at all.
Well, that's really not.
That's not how that works.
It says tantalizing. Doesn't it? Is that closer? No. No. Yes. I try.
A broken shadow is right 2 times a day.
He's like, are you just reading it, or are you like actively like trying to take notes of things to say?
I'm just reading it right
Okay.
now. Like, I'm just waiting for you guys to unpack basically or do whatever like ritual and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I have our door open up to like the common dining room.
Oh, can I want to add something to my like shrine. I think I have 3 like little portraits.
Okay.
Ooh.
And one of them looks a whole lot like Talia. She's got her makeup.
Mm-hmm. Looks like you right now.
Yeah,
like,
makeup up,
pausing,
you
like-
still look just like that.
I haven't washed my off.
All right. That's good.
Sorry, I'm suddenly in a mood, and that means that Ceres has to be in a mood.
Well,
too.
of course. Yeah. Perfect. Sounds good. It doesn't take too long. I mean, I don't actually know how long it takes you to unpack all your random stuff.
Not that long.
Okay.
I got like a good 5 minutes of reading at least.
Yeah, that's
Your ritual might take longer.
depends on if
I
he's
mean,
doing a full ritual or
yeah,
just
I'm-
unpacking.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so much of like a full ritual as it is just making sure everything is in its place, and light the candle and kneel down and ponder for a couple of minutes, and then unlight, put out the candle, and
Snuff it.
snuff it.
You can swim.
Perfect.
Nom, nom, nom.
Unlimited deliciousness.
And so then from there, I mean, really, just whatever you guys want to do.
Mm.
There's the things that were mentioned. If you're just trying to get a general feel for the city, that's optional too. I mean, whatever you guys want to do. There wasn't really a set thing for you guys to do when you got here.
Yeah.
Not specifically. And Merrick's probably not expected for at least another,
Ooh,
probably 2 days exactly, is what is expected.
probably. Oh man.
Only slightly after.
We've got the whole day ahead of us.
And another day.
Oh man. We want to take our mid-episode break and then come back and do all of that?
If you guys want to think about stuff, sure. If there's anything you guys want to get taken care of, we could. I mean, whatever. We've only been going for about an hour now. But we can definitely do the... I mean, I would rather... Actually, let's wait.
Okay.
But, I mean, basically, just what kinds of things are you wanting to get accomplished today? Probably.
Oh, man.
You know that the festival is officially ending tonight, but typically it goes for... From what you've understood, it will be going tomorrow. There just won't be any city-planned events. So.
I just want to watch the play.
Yeah, I'll find out if we like buy tickets for the play or if that's just like go up and they're.
Okay.
Maybe the pharaoh.
Sorry, the who?
What's the family's name?
Which family do you mean?
The roll and short.
The Faringray family?
Faring Gray. I call him the Pharaoh Thorn. But that's a Pokemon.
That's not their last name.
Faring Gray. See if they know anything about the play.
Yeah, so you go out and you ask, you go out and you ask, and Rolf turns and says, well, I think anyone can get tickets. There's just a limited amount. Free, to the best of my knowledge. Says, that's for the seating. I think that you can kind of... I haven't gone and looked at that amphitheater. I think that you can just be on the beach and see the stage. Or there's lots of seating around the amphitheater itself as well. So maybe the tickets are for seating, but anyone can be on the beach.
Good information still.
Sounds good.
We can still look into that. You guys need any help with anything while you're here?
Then we're playing tonight. Just keeping the rooms. Rooms and food are free for anyone who's part of our party, so feel free. We're just performing every night till things start.
Of course, until it's
Nuts.
Thank you for your shit now.
And then they go back to just most of them seem to be. He looks like he's trying to figure out how to do a hard section of a song or something. His wife appears to be choreographing with. You kind of see a sketch of the playroom outside and like notable statues and things. Looks like she's circled. And then the two. Looks like the daughter is writing music of some sort.
Nice.
And the son is just kind of... He looks bored. To put it simply.
You can come out with us if you'd like.
He looks over to his father, and his dad just shrugs, and he's like, alright.
I would love to be the perfect bad influence for Xander.
So Xander stands up and he says, what should I... He's like points to instruments and like he looks like he's got a belt near him that
He's
has
the one that
daggers
can't really
on
play
it.
an instrument, right?
It looks like he is competent but not...
He can do the drums.
He looks like he's
Hey.
competent.
Drummers are actually...
Yeah, it takes a lot of skill.
Yes, if only competent, maybe. But it never looked like he was ever... He never seemed enhanced in his playing. And there was never a feel of whimsy or anything.
Magic from his...
Yeah,
music.
exactly. So I mean, in comparison to his family, it was underwhelming. So he's definitely competent, but you don't really know what his skill level is.
I'll probably just mention offhand, like, an extra dagger is never a bad thing.
As
He
long
nods.
as it's concealable.
He nods at you as well and says, "I have a few."
In that case, let's go have some fun.
And you see him strap a couple daggers to a couple different concealed places.
And I put on my same disguise from earlier. Like,
Yeah.
Cool. And she never took off her makeup.
Nope.
He's just there.
Yep.
He pauses and he says, "Do I need to?"
You probably don't need to. We're gonna be in a crowd. Just, I guess it's a good habit, though.
He nods and says, I think I probably should. People around here know me."
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and if we do want to get into any mischief, it's best not to be known.
Mm-hmm.
Nods and he just he says, "Just give me 10 minutes."
Yeah, no
Okay.
worries.
And he goes into there first. He comes out later and looks relatively like someone who looks like you.
Mm.
Like distant relative.
Yeah, probably. If these two look like brothers and sisters, he might look like either a cousin or like cousins. Hard to say, but just a little bit further than your two.
He's a high.
Like maybe her son or something. If you weren't so sure about ages.
Maybe I look the oldest.
Probably looks like
So you can be
your son, some kind of way.
You've probably seen my picture of Uncle Felix, so you probably.
I took a lot more. I took a lot more from him and you than
Yeah.
we'd like to admit.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, it looks like it was done in 10 minutes. But other than that, it looks passive.
Sounds good to me. I like big color.
He says, "Can we avoid?" And he like does this and he says, "Can we avoid the 4th and 3rd districts?"
You don't want to perform?
He doesn't. He looks at you with kind of a tilted head and he says, "This isn't waterproof."
Aha.
Sounds good to me. Let's go.
And he follows along behind you.
Where do we want to go?
You know, as we like walk out, I'm like, as we mentioned it, I don't know if mine's waterproof either. Mostly because I don't know how to make it look like.
Xander nods and says, "I don't know how to do that magic either."
Hey,
He's like, can't you just make it wet when you get wet?"
probably. Never tried, but
You want to try now?
maybe as we go to the beach. I gotta get those tickets first.
Oh, tickets.
Right,
Right.
Xander, you would like to do anything?
Yeah. What do you,
You
want
guys
to
are
do?
showing me the town. I
Okay.
don't know.
I start walking towards the beach.
You've been in town longer than we have.
This kid looks like he's probably about 17, 18.
Nice.
His sister looked a little bit older than that, maybe low 20s. You can also tell that it's a little harder to tell because they're definitely half elf.
Yeah.
So, age.
Yeah.
Age.
What is it?
What is it? For all we know, he could be 50.
Hard to say.
It's really hard to say.
Yeah. I start walking towards the beach. Or
He
the
follows right
amphitheater.
after you. You're the one who invited him, right? Who invited him?
I did.
It was you, right? Yeah. He follows like you specifically.
Just make shit.
He's just, I mean, depending on what you talk about, he kind of just follows suit. He talks about different things that he's done, and one thing that he specifically starts talking about is learning how to do cool tricks from his dad, like dagger tricks and game tricks and things.
You'll have to teach me some. I'm not the most dexterous. Like, I try to do like a coin trick, like, and it just like falls.
He catches it after it falls, and kind of just plays it on the back of his knuckles really quick back into you.
Gotta learn that.
Says,
It's not too hard.
And then I immediately press digitation, just like a coin instead.
he shakes his head and he's like, "That's just not."
I know.
You don't feel the weight. He's like, if you travel enough, and he's like, we're on the road a lot. You have to find something to entertain your hands.
You know, that's why I play my flute.
He says, well, I know the lute, and I know, and he starts naming off like 3 different instruments. He's like, but I just never in the right spot for it. It never works. Dad, Mom, and Tana are always the ones who play the finer instruments. It goes with the magic thing, I guess.
Yeah. Magic. Who needs it?
He shrugs and says, "It's fine though. It's still fun to play the drums."
You know, if I was half as good at you with the drums, I would.
What are you looking for?
What are you?
I'm trying to find the amphitheater without asking anybody.
So you headed
You're
to the
wandering
beach
around
first,
aimlessly.
and then you're just wandering.
Yes.
After-
Unless you guys like direct me.
No, I think you could probably find it.
Yeah.
After some time,
Oh.
you do find it. It looks like it's on the beach near the wall between the first and 8th district. So you likely wouldn't have seen it on your way in, and a little bit to find it. It's kind of looks a little bit like an odd situation as far as how it's set up. So as you're getting there, it looks like it's pretty empty right now. You do see that pretty much no matter where you're at on the beach, you can see the stage. Not super well, it's pretty far away. It's a pretty large building. But you can see that there are like stairs and things that go in, and then it looks like seating goes down and the stage comes up. Okay. So just the way that it works, you can still see the stage. As well as walls on the back are somewhat polished, and you can actually see kind of a reflection down onto it. Not super well, but you can just slightly see kind of a reflection of the stage from like 3 different angles. Depending on
That's kind of.
Is there a box? A ticket selling.
There's a large building near it.
Head there.
You walk up to it, and it looks like it has advertisements for different things, just kind of like hand-drawn paintings of people and things, and it has like names of what seem like plays underneath them.
Anybody here?
There's a door.
Locked.
No, it's not locked.
I'll go in.
Inside, you see kind of an opening area. I mean, just an area in the front. Where it has kind of more advertisements. It also has like some. They're obviously props, and you can see that underneath it is some written prices underneath quite a few of the props in there. Some of them are like feather necklaces and things like that, and some of them are obviously weapons that seem to be probably collapsible.
Ooh.
But they're all pretty crazy prices. But yeah, that's about it. And then there's no one in there currently. There's just kind of a counter, but there is a door that goes back for.
Is there a bell? Ding.
You hit that bell, and it kind of you don't hear anything. But you hear someone in the back say, "I'm coming."
Right before I hit it again.
A man walks in who's wearing altogether too many things.
Nice.
He's wearing some jewelry. He's wearing some crazy like scarf that's going crazy. He's wearing 2 different jackets.
Nice.
All of which look to be very light in weight, but lots of colorful, lots of different things. You'd be impressed.
I am thoroughly impressed.
I don't know what the rest of you would think.
I am also eyeing that you said like feathered color thing. I'm eyeing it.
Yeah, so the feathers on it are they're kind of like smaller version of peacock.
Nice.
Just a whole bunch of them kind of going down. And it just the biggest one is at the center, and then just a bunch like small all the way down to this big center. Huge dress. Like a huge.
I'm just as he shows up, I'm like, is this? Do you provide the tickets for the show tonight, or do you know anything about that?
He points to a little like box, and there's just a piece of paper sticking out. And he says, "Feel free to take one."
Yeah, I grab one.
And then a new paper comes out.
And I grab one.
I'm standing outside.
Did you want to come? Guess it at all?
I don't think I did.
Xander takes one.
Yeah, I'll poke my head out. It's like, did you want one?
No, I'll be okay.
Okay. Thank you. Or, like, why are these weapons so pricey? Like, are they usable or are they just staged?
His eyes go wide and he says, well, of course they're pricey. He points to that one and says, this one was made specifically to be in the hands of Delantha, the great magician, who played Anyway, he goes through this huge thing of like explaining who it was, what they did, what the part was, and why it was so amazing for each of the expensive items on the walls.
Like, is there like a blade?
There is a blade, yeah. He points, yeah.
And like, why? Like, is it like an actual blade or?
Of course it's not an actual blade. Do you want my actors to be killed?
Well, you can not hit each other. Although I guess that's less convincing.
He shakes his head and he says, no, let me show you. And he grabs the blade from... He grabs the blade and he says, magically enhanced to do exactly what we needed for the play. And he he slices his arm and it leaves like a blood drips as it does it. And then he like stabs himself in the side and blood like starts dripping down as well. But he pulls it out and he says, see, completely collapsible. And he like puts it through his hand and nothing comes out the other side, but blood starts dripping down. Or what looks like blood starts dripping from his hand.
Impressive. I assume that's a pretty penny of magic in there.
Well, of course, I wouldn't buy anything less.
Is there...
We're not gladiators. We're actors.
You know, I don't dabble much in the acting arts. I'm more of a musician myself.
He shakes his head and he says, only one facet of true entertainment.
Well, thank you for your time, sir.
Okay.
And I walk out. I'm like, hey, we got tickets. I want you to show up later. I put my ticket away.
Sanders shakes his head and he says, the worst.
Drama kids.
So,
He says, sure that my family puts on just as good a shows as he does with just what we do.
Holy.
You're probably right.
He shrugs, takes like the ticket and says, guess I'll find out later.
I'm intrigued to figure out what this late night show is. Anyways, Xander, question for you.
Oh, there is an advertisement. It looks like it's a show about a man who goes out to get a giant octopus and fights the Kraken in the
Nice.
based on the pictures and the little description.
I mean, you're blackout.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna turn to Xander after this. Xander, what are the other octants? They told us about, I mentioned off the other ones, like the octopus steak, the museum, the festival. Like, what is 7, 6, and 5? Was there anything interesting in them?
He says, oh, the 7th octant, he just he thumbs over. That's the poor dock. Totally fine. Really, when they say poor, they just mean average docks. This is the exclusive docks. All the best amenities, all the best. He gestures, he says, there's nothing wrong with those, but they're not the best either. Kind of average docks. He says next to that in the octant 6th, that's where all the shady things. Wouldn't go there after night every night, but if you have something you need to do, gotta get it done. Terrible for quick pickings. He gestures towards a general direction again and says, the 5th octant is actually where Bill and Syken are tonight. Just general housing. Not the rich area, but good well-made house. He says, what was the other octant you asked about, or was that all of them?
That was it. Those are the main ones I don't remember the guard talking much about, but it makes sense that they're the poorer sections.
Yeah, it's a lot of poor and living areas. There's still shops and things there, but it's a lot of housing and general shop. Some blacksmiths are in there. Just what people would need on a day-to-day basis. Convenience.
I look to my companion. Anything you guys need to do for this night before for the show?
You have enough money to go shopping?
I don't
I
have
don't know
enough
how much
money.
money you guys have at all.
I just had my starting money.
I
It's
spent
not
most of
much.
my money tipping people more than expected.
So what is your guys' money situation?
I got nearly 10 gold pieces.
We got like 2.
like maybe 8 gold pieces.
I mean,
Like,
compared to
maybe?
some people, you're rich.
Yeah.
But okay.
We also have a couple of paintings that are ready to be sold.
Yeah, I'll talk to Bill and Syke. You know,
me.
Xander, how do you feel about running a couple pretty quick with your fingers? How would you feel about running a couple
To run some scams?
not
over here?
scams, but like I'm a pretty good distraction if I do say so myself.
I was to say. Sure. Where you want to go?
We probably don't want to go to the very highest end place. What was in 2?
2 is where the museum aquarium.
Any It was
No,
just a museum.
it was the
I just
Museum
made
of
up-
Deep Sea.
I just
Sorry,
made up aquarium.
the Deep Sea Museum.
The Deep Sea Museum, which sounds like it should be an aquarium.
Is anything in Quadrant 2, is that housing there too?
That's the rich housing. It has quite a few more city guards than
Oh,
other
okay.
areas.
What was number 1? Is that also rich housing?
One has a couple of rich housing. A lot of it's actually government. And of course, that is also where the Greylock Manor is stated.
I'm assuming that's the people with their personal army. And-
Army, I wouldn't quite say army. They're pretty well.
Well, you can't get your makeup wet. So you probably can't go there. Just for safety.
No, I'd prefer not to go to the 3rd or 4th octave. Anywhere else, I'm not planning on jumping in the ocean.
What was the 5th octave?
The 5th octave was,
That is just normal
It's
living.
like-
that's just good housing. General good housing. And a couple good stores. Anyway,
Well, middle class, the petite bourgeois.
what he said.
So we can use Xander's skills tonight. Well, right now.
Or we could just have a good time.
I'm down with that too.
I'm-
along the lines of
I
having a
am
time.
down
Xander
for
Xander
a
points and
like
says, "I like a good
6-hour bender.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of money for it, but hey, or we could figure something out.
Get some spicy water.
Exactly.
Xander, do you drink?
He shrugs and says, "I shouldn't have too much. I need to play later."
Okay.
I'm sure I could have a little though.
Don't worry, we'll all
Take
have
a
some.
17-year-old drinking with us. It'll be fine.
Different laws back.
Different laws in different realms.
Laws, different realms, different everything.
It was a different time.
For all we know, he's 57. I'm not asking his age. Okay. We're going to the first bar we see.
Oh, jeez.
You guys are currently in
8.
It's gonna be such an expensive bar.
Well, we may not buy anything there. We literally like walk in, it's like, hey, let's stop by here.
If we go to a poorer neighborhood, I bet I could get us.
Do it.
Not even that way. No, maybe.
Are you finding the first place or are you going to a poor place?
I'm looking for the first place, and I'm checking prices, basically.
Okay. The first place you find that looks like a drinking place is the Diamond and Pearl. The Diamond and Pearl Boutique.
Oh no, it has boutique in the name.
I probably won't cast it. It's like, wait, this place serves alcohol. I'm like, wait, what?
What?
Yeah. Probably actually, Xander points it out. This is a drinking establishment.
I'll walk in.
Everyone does look like they have drinks, and there's very well-dressed waiters and waitresses who are bringing very fancy-looking cups. Like, some of the cups, you're not even sure how they made them. Like, kind of like, almost like a bendy straw, but that's what the cup looks
Oh
like.
man, we can
These
get some
aren't the
sort
kind of
cocktails
drinks we
here.
were talking about.
You see a lot of what looks like a kind of like an admiral feeling ship captain. A lot of people who are looking very well dressed and but they're still wearing like navy looking gear.
Oh, geez.
I'll turn to Xander and say, this is probably above our price range.
He shakes his head and he says, "Follow me."
Okay.
And he starts going towards the 7th dock.
Okay.
He says, "I met a couple people who were kind of fun a night or two ago. They brought me here." And he
Nice.
points out the Crushed Clam Tavern.
Heck yeah.
He says, a couple different things here. First off, if you like, he looks for the word first. Like, they're like clams or oysters. If you like oysters, they've got oyster shots here.
That sounds so terrible. I want to try it.
Like a Hail Mary, but with an oyster.
With an oyster.
I may
at the
have to
bottom.
try it.
He's like, it felt awful to me. I didn't like the slime, but people do, I guess.
The slimy?
Have you never had an oyster? Do we? How soon did we get there?
Boy, you guys. I found a recipe.
No.
There's oyster shots in Oregon someplace. Mind you, not all of them. Most of them weren't alcoholic.
It's like basically like a little Bloody Mary.
Little did you know I was telling the truth.
Yeah. We walk into the establishment.
Except instead of like actual like tomato juice, it's like cocktail sauce.
I immediately order
It
3
works.
drinks.
Oh,
Xander says, "Make it 4. I'll supper with you guys. We can experience this."
It's like, fine. How much?
The guy at this place is like, 4 copper.
Yeah.
oh boy.
There's a very small shots.
Yeah. Ready?
No.
Tastes like marinara sauce
Oh,
with alcohol and slime going down your throat.
Mm. It's
why? Yeah.
not just slime, like specifically like nah.
Yeah. You've had better oysters than this, but this oyster wasn't particularly good in the first place, you could tell. And then they just like covered it in alcohol and just marinara. And it was just like in a big old shot. It was just a slightly larger than shot glass.
It's gonna hold an oyster. Fine. I'll take another.
Yeah, that'll get me drunk. Get me another.
We were ordering 2 more.
Um,
Do you have like
Xander just kind of shrugs it off and says, "I'm okay."
cinnamon water? That's not right. Vodka.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon vodka.
Oh, with no.
He nods.
Yeah.
And he just
Yeah.
kind of he says, "I can do that." But he gives you guys the shots look like they're super easy. Like it looks like they have like a whole drawer, not literally a drawer, but like just a giant shelf full of these, just ready to pass out.
They just keep on making them and
They appear to be basically. They seem to be a commonly
it's like
ordered
a
thing.
specialty thing.
Basically a specialty of this place. He does get out a shot glass that's a little smaller than theirs. Puts the vodka in and then does the
It's
cinnamon.
like the-
No, I want like a big glass.
He tilts his head a little and says, "Traditionally, these come this way."
Keep them coming.
Do your each has to cover.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
we're
Yours
just
is
gonna
yours
get
is actually a
smashed.
silver.
Mine is a silver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not paying for yours.
I was not expecting you
I'm just
to
gonna
do
take it. I'm just gonna get a mead after the second shot.
Oh, I'm imagining us doing the like.
I give him
what's the
2
game?
silver.
Rock paper scissors.
No,
flat?
give me,
Yeah.
give me
Except instead rock paper
He
scissors.
gets another
you
one
lose,
out
we
with
have
the
to take
cinnamon
a
and then
mystery
gives it
shot.
to you. When you order a mead, Xander's
I'd
like,
get wasted.
I'll have one of those, and he gets a mead as well, just to kind of sip with you guys.
Coppers.
That's just also going to be a 1 copper for you.
Do you want a mead?
Sure. Yeah, something to sip on.
Yeah.
And your vodkas are a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
for flavor, you know that technically exported.
Cinnamons.
Cinnamon, 50-50. The cinnamon you can get from, and this gets into stupid things you don't need to know, but the cinnamon will come in through the ports. The
Potatoes, those are hard to come by.
the potatoes aren't necessarily hard to come
Different.
by, but the vodka typically is made by the dwarves very far to the north west. And it's mostly only able to be shipped through ground ship. But anyway,
Yeah, I down my 2 spicy waters.
they're spicy
And
with a taste of cinnamon.
So spicy.
I get myself
Cool, sounds good. That one's the copper.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys can drink plenty here if you're sticking to the house special.
I'm definitely not getting drunk. I'm just going for the buzz fee.
All right.
Just a nice, pleasant, floaty feeling.
Yeah.
I'd like to keep an ear out for anything that sounds like deep.
I can't.
It doesn't take too long. It seems kind of like you hear one person actually talking to the bartender in the camp, and he answers back. The general feel that you got from that is, "Hey, is there any side jobs or any news on the down low? You know, any news you don't want spreading, kind of a thing." And then you do hear he basically gives the idea of not too much, pretty quiet right now. And then you hear someone else talking about some smuggling deals, or at least it feels like they're talking about smuggling deals going to be happening on the ports within the next couple months.
Oh, okay. The usual.
Yeah, especially for kind of a this bar definitely doesn't seem like even. It seems lower end. Not quite. They're not quite that there's going to be fights every night, but definitely not just where someone would go to take his son for the first time. Generally.
Yeah.
Darts?
Sure.
Darts. It's time to get good at darts.
Of course, there's some darts.
Yeah, I'm challenging Xander to darts.
Oh, I won it.
Wait
He,
your turn.
I just
You're not drunk
Xander-
enough yet.
Xander says you can play darts with more than people.
Yeah. That's for a second. I need her off her game a little more. She's a little more adept in the fingers.
You say that to Xander, or you say
Yeah,
that
I say that to Xander.
It's like Xander probably needs to be twice as drunk.
Probably.
Xander's like, he kind of, he gets out a silver. He says, "Do you want to drink on me?"
sure.
He rolls it across his fingers over into your hand and says, "There you go."
You're so nice.
He nods.
I like you.
And he looks to you and he says,
Oh,
"Why do we eat?"
Well, first off, you're probably already better at this than me, and I throw the first dart.
How well did you do? I don't care if you roll or not. You can just tell me how well that throw was.
That was pretty good.
Nice.
That
He like gives you that look and he's just like, "Mind to me."
Well, it's your turn.
oh boy.
So we're gonna play these darts more traditional style. So you'll typically have 3 time you roll, but what?
Yeah. Alright.
No,
Let me keep this just in case.
My. We're gonna put this on
Hello?
Now for a brief intermission.
a brief intermission while important things are taken care of. All right, and we are back. That was fun times, everyone. We've gone for just a minute there. Left off with about to start playing darts, and a third vodka, cinnamon vodka shot.
Ooh.
Nice, everyone's got their drinks. We're all refreshed. I hope that everyone watching got their drinks and is refreshed. Or will watch.
Get drink, be refreshed.
But
What?
looks like it's time for some darts.
I'll throw another really good one, and then one that's not very good. Not off the circle, but maybe a triple ring or two. Like a
You playing? Are you just getting points then?
I'll just
He's like, I'm playing darts.
you just go for points.
darts is just
And I missed the bullseye.
Well, he plays and he's pretty well. I think that with the roll that it sounds like you just had, he did.
Probably have more.
Were you coming over to play darts as well after your third shot?
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead and roll like.
I am.
Cool.
Oh, like
Like
weapon darts. It's the same
I
thing.
mean, they're similar.
It's just gonna be
enough.
dexterity.
I just rolled the base off my. Give myself. Like where I would be
rolling
hitting.
3? Or roll
Just
1?
roll one. Let me know.
Less.
4. Dexterity
Six.
4. Yep. That. 15. Pretty good. You're playing. I mean, it sounds like you're playing about the same as them, right? What was yours? Wasn't it about the same?
My total was a 20.
Your highest one was a 20. Everyone's playing pretty close to this. It does look like might be because you guys are drinking, or who knows, but slowly with your meat and all the rest of the drinks you've already had, slowly deteriorates just a little. Not even that bad, but it's just kind of like you were definitely hitting pretty close to where you were aiming before. A little bit later on, you're like, man, I really thought I was aiming 3. I don't know how it got 6. Strangest thing. But in general, it goes well. But Xander, and just kind of says, "Are we gonna play for stakes? Just warm up."
I prefer to play for money. Nudge him. But I can buy you not for steak if that's what you want with you.
He just shakes his head. But I want that.
I'm with Xander. It's
It's
not good.
It's a play on word. Yes, we can play for steaks.
He
Oh.
his eyes
That's
widen
funny.
a little bit. And he says, "Of course."
Hunnery is my favorite.
What is your
A plus.
A plus
A
one?
plus.
Might as well have.
I need you to roll just how well you're handled.
And the oyster shot.
Well, and I need to find out how well you're doing as well, Grace. It's not a hard one for you.
Mine's a 13. Oh wait, they're saves, aren't they? It's still a 13.
So there's not going to be any disadvantage twos for you happening.
Not unless I'm trying to count.
But we're gonna be playing here. So in general, what's gonna happen here? I don't know how many rolls total, but it's gonna be 1 roll per hand. Basically, going to judge. What is your max plus for dexterity? And what's yours 4?
You playing? Getting in on this?
Playing
I'm-
for the
If
stakes?
someone
Now I'm
buys
just gonna
me, like,
watch.
2 more shots, I'm fine.
It doesn't look like anyone else is buying you shots. At least
I-
Xander isn't. I don't know
I
about.
offered to get you some oyster shots.
Those taste a little funny.
Oyster always tastes
Gross.
funny.
Fair. Like another one.
Sorry, I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and have you guys roll actually a d20 plus a d.
Add them together or have them separate?
I need to know that.
Okay. So, dex on the d20? I got a 13. 4 for my...
Yeah, add your dex.
So, 13.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, you got a triple 13.
I can't see.
You got a 21 and...
You got the double. As far as points are going here, it's just counting your highest one. He got a triple bull, and Xander got a triple bullseye, right? And he got like the green one, and he got the red one, right? For his highest one, is what we're just.
Did we wait?
I don't think it's been
Copper?
stated yet.
Silver piece.
Silver piece?
Xander shrugs and said, "Sure, why not?" It's your.
Ooh, that's a 5 and a 2.
With a 5 and a 2, that's just. All right, Whitney.
Ooh,
Say 2 and a
that's a
4.
6.
Oh yeah.
You just got a triple 6. And he got just a 9.
Dylan.
We're gonna do 2 more and then be done.
Ooh, that's a 7 and a 3.
So you got a double 3. Grace. Both. Turns out you were drunk.
No, I really am just bad at this. That's a 24, 4.
It's a 24.
I mean 22, 4, sorry.
Okay, so you got a triple bull. So the red bull's next. Got a.
Right, there might be some choicers sweating.
Got a triple 8.
I shouldn't have had more than one.
Your turn, Grace.
That's a 14-1.
Got 14 for that one. Go ahead and roll, Whitney. This is the last one, by the way, I think.
That's a 9-4.
Yeah, so that's a triple 4, a triple 9, I mean. Got all triple. You got basically all triples, by the way. Great there. Here, got a double bullseye. Grayson, you're basically right out.
Yeah. I put my silver in between them. And I walk away.
He's just like, there you go. I know I didn't win this one. Your guys
I
I don't know how dark's.
differently than I did it anyway. But
That's fair.
oh, he did have you in the end. Yeah, so he did beat you, but not by much. Basically beat you by 30.
It's rarely happens.
He shrugs and he says, "Lucky on that last one."
Pretty low.
Says, also had less to drink than you.
I like
It
look
might.
at him. I'm like, give him the thumbs up. Like, oh, you get it.
He says, "I think it might be time for me to get going back. Are you guys done for the night as well?" He says, "I need to go and play at least a little bit, or else I don't think I'd be happy."
You coming to play tonight?
He looks down at the ground.
Hey.
Okay, I think he looks outside and he says, "The play's probably starting soon. We should probably get going now. I can stay for some of it. Definitely need to go and actually play it at the."
You do what you need to with your family, but I'm gonna head to the play. Do something else tonight?
I want to wander around here, kind of get a feel for the common people.
Be safe, brother.
My cheeks are just a little bit flushed. It's fine.
You guys head to the inn.
Just a,
Have fun.
just a
Xander
little
does
bit
go
of
with you. On your tickets, you actually see that there's like a numbers that are set up on it. It should. What are you? They're going to the amphitheater. What are you doing?
So with my back, it says that I can get into the home. Is it
Okay.
right?
What was your?
So we might end up. I was going to talk to you about potentially.
Can adapt it. Would the feature be the same, or you think that
It would probably be about this.
Okay, sounds good. Or we can.
It's all narrative anyway. Nobody actually plays D&D the way it's written.
Writing.
It's
I
fun.
don't know.
No, it's fine. I'm just on my usual stuff about D. I would like to roll. There isn't. Well, yeah, patience.
No, it would just be
It
investigation.
would just be like. Yeah, I would. Good thing I put a lot of points into.
Ooh.
I'm not good at anything else with my brain. I can find things out if I.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I'm curious about like the common people and like their relationship with. I want to hear about, people and their like their faith, or maybe ways that individual not be.
So from asking around, you find that a lot of people enjoy occasionally the great cathedral when they have the opportunity. But it, often there's limited seating and only so many things, and it's also one of the central hubs of government. There's a lot of smaller, localized. Most of the smaller locations, from what you gather, just have one or another. People kind of just shop to which one they go, and kind of you get the idea that a lot of people prefer to go to the ones that are by when available. Sometimes those ones get really full really quickly, or don't work out. And so occasionally they'll go to, or a couple of the kind of tougher people talks to, the taverns especially, a lot of them like that. One of them specifically started telling you about the time one basically said that killing is not gotta happen. Learn healing so keep our troops going when kinds of things go, but killing's gonna happen. Of the inevitabilities of life. This guy went off and on about this, talking about.
Good way or a bad way?
Oh, he was loving it. This dude looked like a. This guy
He's ready
looked
to
pretty
go.
scarred up, and he mentioned that sailors. But anyway, it seemed like he was really into whatever that read. Yeah, he actually gives you directions. 6th octant of where you could kind of find this guy's spot specifically. And then a lot of people just kind of say, and it seems like what you've understood actually, quite a few people, a lot of the red high priest in charge of, a lot of the red high priest in charge are kind of in 6th, 7th octants primary. Or at least there's not a lot of, there are some first, but and then there's quite a few first, second octants. That's just kind of the general idea you got. As far as what a lot of people feel, they kind of talk to you about it again. Like you just have to shop and find the one that's right for you. All of them are true, but different flavors.
Right, yeah. They all worship.
Yes. They all worship Antelium, but there's just different ways. It depends on what your personal thoughts and feelings and kind of depends on which priest you speak to. But it seems like most people have some faith or go off and like most. Definitely everyone has a relationship. Some people more, some people less, and some people you only rarely run into completely like they. It seems like a lot. They're very. Some of them are. The impression you got is that they.
Yeah. Everything is organization.
Yeah.
Got a height limit.
You did speak with someone who wasn't from here, who didn't care about it much. Part of the that he is a mercenary for the Greylock.
Interesting. I would like probably spend more time with this guy.
So I mean, what other questions or things do you have to ask this?
Oh.
His opinion on the church seemed pretty passive.
Hmm.
But he also kind of mentioned that his time is spent on or occasionally on boats, actual location.
I guess. Well, my thoughts on guys. Only I have really kind of private. Or you guys have any suggestions of how we could make that happen? That's probably what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Private group.
Probably something. Probably start with something along those lines.
You know the hierarchy.
Yeah. Actually, ooh. May I roll deception to
May.
start planting some rumors with this guy?
Mhm.
About. I think we'll start with just generic, or the city guard hating.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds good. It's just the impression that you're trying to get into his head is that the city guard just appreciate or like or respect them.
Yeah, that's especially with the way that the Church of Untitled just holds everything in its grubby little fists. That is a 21.
Oh yeah. So you start talking about that. Oh, you were. This guy immediately goes into a tirade, just immediately agreeing. He's like, always do. They'll walk by and they'll grab their. Is there a prayer? Stuck up guards. I've never seen guards so stuck up in my life. So pompous.
That's so ridiculous.
He shakes his head and he's like, and he says, I just can't believe that all of the guards in this city, all of the city guards in this city are religious. Every single one of them. They have to be. It's the only way they're allowed to be guards. Or the military.
Of course. That's how they keep honest folk who just move here looking for work from getting into the good positions with the highest pay.
He points his finger at you. It's thinking that too. I mean, please. He's like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The Greylocks, they have very good pay, but their work's a little bit more dangerous than the guard.
Of course, the city guard, they're pampered, spoiled sheep. Not like you wolves who have to go out and actually defend something worth a damn.
Yeah, you got this guy.
Oh yeah.
You guys are going to.
We're going to a play.
Yes, there's a lot of people. Going in, you can see that further into this you go, it's it almost feels like a giant cave, and it's almost in the shape of a giant clam. Like the whole thing itself almost. But anyway.
You watch play.
Yes, you watch the play. Now it starts off on a dark and dreary scene about the great octopus and the great things that it brings. It is dangerous, but it's not so dangerous that it can't be done. All sorts of random little things like that. The story progresses. It goes into the first act is all about that. At the very end of the first act, Kraken comes and destroys their boat while they're just trying out of the.
Are you enthralled by this play?
Absolutely.
The beginning of the second act, you come to find that it's just the hero left. Out of all of the ship, he's the survivor that he of, and he only survived because he rode on the back of that octopus.
Is he one of the Greylocks?
He's not. He's just a regular ink.
He's just one of them ink milkers.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not drawn in by this play. I'm just like,
Apparently, she's drawn into
Yeah.
this. To go further, he takes him back to his little cave entrance and actually gives him a necklace that causes him to talk to the octopus. Water.
What?
Magic necklace.
So cool.
sit.
If I
No.
At the end
The
of
way you're terrified of water.
At the end of the second act, it's decided that they need to take down the Kraken at the octopus. That's when Xander has to leave. I can't say anyone. You can't tell if it's because of how amazed he is by this play, or if he's just a little stressed about time. But
Like,
he's like, I gotta get out of here.
I'll tell you
Don't
how
worry.
it ends later.
We're gonna jump back to you.
So meanwhile, I think I've started working with this guy and like trying to network into all of his other friends who are somewhat disgruntled about this.
Yeah, this mercenary just kind of. You can tell that he's really annoyed at being looked down on, or different things like that. But looked down on and disrespected. What it's most talking about. And then he talks about that the numbers just don't. Like we just don't have we have the numbers to hold down that area, and that's about it. And then it's like maybe we have 100 total souls in the Greylock retinue. It's like this city has so many guards. So many guards. I mean, none of them are as experienced as. They are hard to take down. I've seen them in action. Even they get knocked down. Friends will get them right back up with that stupid pendant.
Those pendants. You think they're magic or something?
Oh, there's something to it. He shakes his head and he says, I had a couple of friends of mine who wiped a couple of them, but they didn't do anything for us. He thinks it has something to do with prayers and things.
Of course they would. But it's just another thing that they've gated off from good, common people.
He sits back a little bit and he says, you seem knowledgeable. What do you propose we do?
Well, obviously, we don't have the numbers to take,
Well, then
right?
it's still their city. Like I don't know if taking them on is ever the right choice.
No, of course not. But like, oh man, I suddenly had the idea to take a huge risk. I see.
I'm looking at the comment.
I like to make commentary as we go.
No, I like it. I just think it's amusing.
Looked at my intelligence score of 0. Or bonus 0.
Charisma is writing that.
My,
Your charisma.
I'm just really good at lying.
And
And
seen knowledge.
You know who you are. And you know who he wants to be.
it's fine. Anyway.
Do you need some time here? I can tell
Wh-
a Kraken story.
Yeah, you should go on and tell some more Kraken story.
The third act starts. It shows that now they have gathered a large group of giant octopus together. They don't have any weapons. Man is trying to teach them that the most important thing isn't the weapons, but to believe, and I tell you, as he will deliver them. He is the god of war. Healing too, but the god of war. He it goes on and talks, him talking about people up. He's training them on what they can try to do. Then they get into this giant fight. They do find the Kraken underwater. There's just a giant fight between the octopus and the Kraken. Seems as though the Krakens will eat them all. But in of course, a very dramatic point, the octopus themselves stop, put their tentacles. Looks great with all of their effects on the stage as well. They put their tentacles together. You can see the light of Anactelium come down to them. This. Angels come down.
Lost.
Aim down.
Into the water. Lots of songs. Most of the octopus die.
That's not how that
But the man and his octopus together, they, not alone, but those two with a few stragglers, with the help of the angels, they were able to crack him. And the man goes back to his life, famous from the octopus. And that's the end.
Oh man.
Lots of fanfare, and really it was a very spectacular looking thing.
It was really good up until like, the end. And then none of it made sense. Like rings and water, they don't go together, and like it's never gonna happen, man.
So, a celestial's a little bit different. Good,
Yeah.
good sister.
Oh.
Yeah, have you ever seen a duck? Or perhaps any other waterfowl?
I mean,
Surely you have a couple friends.
In her mind, she's thinking, those unholy beasts.
Anyways,
Unnatural.
this was a eventful. Get back to the hotel.
it's still not the same. Like in water. On top of
Hey,
the water. Not the same. Okay, it's not the same.
faith,
I walk away.
faith can provoke many actions. And then I quote something from his book.
Yeah.
That's very off-topic.
It has nothing to do with anything.
The shadows guide the spirits of doubt.
And other people give me like weird looks on. I clearly don't understand this whole thing.
It's
A rock thrown down a mountain is much harder to stop than just throwing it down.
You're really good.
Because you're still doing BS ones, right?
And I misquote him more than I
Exactly.
should. I'm like, oh, too bad Cirrus isn't here to correct that.
You would know. He would have known with that action.
Anyways, let's return home.
All right.
Well, I'm following.
Okay.
Now this guy. What should we do? You seem like a not.
You
seem knowledgeable. What do you recommend?
This is gonna be so much trouble.
I've been expecting it.
I'm gonna start preaching.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Oh, now look.
So nervous. Go on then.
The power of faith in many forms. You know, people here.
You mean like the dwarven?
Well, there's all sorts of gods. We know that there's like dwarven gods, and an Italian church has like a. The thing is, faith in a specific divinity isn't as important as in convictions and constantly acting upon them. A single stone thrown a single time can perhaps bruise an eye, but a dozen stones thrown over the course of a week, that could begin to that could be the beginning of a great avalanche. Imagine not only throwing the stones, but fitting them together, using them to build something important.
This guy looks a little lost. He He's
I like wave my hand. The point is that the point is that the reason the Church of Intellion has a strong hold here, and the reason they're able to shun all of us outside, is that they have their places where they meet, all talk about the things that matter to them. And what we need is to start meeting a lot, start talking about things that matter to us, and form our own groups and our own friendships. The power of our conviction together will
Like in a tavern.
like in a tavern, or like
Okay. Okay.
will you commit to be baptized? No. No, I don't. The important part isn't the getting them to believe my specific belief. The important part is to get them organized.
Ah, yeah. What he like looks at? What if we're in a different tavern than Rick?
We're probably.
He's been bar hopping.
Yeah, he's been just kind of people talking.
Or like in an alleyway, I've got like a bottle of something.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't know.
right.
It
We're probably just
is on the
talking.
way
You
down.
guys are probably just talking outside by the docks here.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, at a tavern. Oh, and conviction with
And-
rocks.
And form solidarity with each other.
Like a rock.
Like a rock. Solid like a rock. Exactly. I should not have brought up rocks.
There was just so many.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay,
You didn't read the situation.
so bring 12 friends. What
Start-
tavern?
Start small. Start with just you and a couple of your buddies. And just talk about, first of all, talk about your lives, get to know each other, and work to
I can bring my
help
squad.
with your squad. And just like talk about the normal stuff, shoot the shit, play some games maybe, drink a little bit, but get a little bit below the surface too. Talk about what matters to you. Talk about the things that make you mad and the things that make you happy. And like if one guy, needs, and if a friend needs you to lend him your coat, like let him borrow it. And then later, when you need to borrow a knife, then he can lend you a knife. Yeah, it's real easy, and that way. And then from there, you just start inviting more people, and everybody's just. And I like to pick up a piece of rope, and I do the stupid rope analogy.
individual strand.
One strand of rope on its own. And I'm like so
Broken.
drunk at this point, like. Untwitch it even more, and then snap a bit. It breaks. When there's more of you, it's a lot harder. Eventually, there's so many of us.
All twisted. Well, we're borrowing.
Because we're borrowing and we know each other and we care about each other.
I have his knife, and he has my jacket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you use a knife to cut the jacket.
Yeah.
So first thing we need is jackets. Meet in the tavern. So borrow my knife, and we'll throw rocks.
Just me in this.
Exactly.
With my squad.
But remember, it starts tomorrow. Go to the tavern with your squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow with my squad.
And
Then we can borrow our jackets later.
And if anybody wants to join in, just let them, and let them become friends with you. And just,
What if they're in the church?
well, see, there's nothing wrong with them being in the church.
Yeah.
as long as they're not being stuck up about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've met some nice not stuck up.
Yeah, there's some nice guys out there. But just like, make sure they know you're just as real as they are. And that, like, it's okay for you to be who you are.
I deserve a healing necklace.
You do. You deserve as much as any other guy.
Maybe you'll let me borrow it.
Maybe.
Hey, you gonna be there tomorrow?
Let me see. I think I can be there tomorrow. Yeah. What
Okay.
what tavern we going to?
We should go. There's the one. The oysters?
Oh yeah, the crushed clam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that place.
It's friendly. And the
It-
drinks come quick.
They sure do. All right. We'll see you there, friend. So begins the revolution.
Viva la revolución.
I think I'm going to be having these conversations. I should probably.
We can fast forward through some of them. This first one is important.
Yeah.
This is the one we needed
Hmm.
because I needed some doctrine.
Yeah. I'm like trying to decide. I think I'm gonna handle it kind of like a mystery religion. You know, have like the outer circle that's all just people who have solidarity together and we're all good friends. And then we get another circle of people who like, so you know, I am the. And then
I'm not sure what that means.
me neither. That name is still being worked on. It's not solid, not for sure.
I am Black Lion.
And then like the next circle in is who could I have some abilities. If you work hard, you could get ability. Anyway.
I have this book. Cool. Everyone's going back to bed, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bill and Sai can show up at night.
Yeah. They when you guys get back, by the time you get back for sure, Bill.
I'm gonna retrieve the painting, see if they can fence them or something.
Bill takes a look at it and says, "Doesn't look like it's that good of quality. Looks like someone who might have been learning. College or something. Said you found this in that tipped over wagon that we saw?
Got the demons and the celestials, you know. They gotta be worth something in this town.
I'm sure someone would buy it. Probably no one in the common moderate inn might be willing.
That's kind of. I know that's kind of your guys' job is to make fun, so I'm just gonna.
I'm sure I can make it work. Yeah, I'll give you a part.
Well, that's
Since it was on the side, not part of the. And he just kind of says, "Yep, I'll get back to you once I get."
This is probably when like the door slams open and I stumble.
Oh no.
And let's see. You were good friends with him, too. Bill turns. Hey!
Hey Bill, I'm making new friends.
Yeah, you're looking good.
You want some something?
He takes the bottle from your hand. It's not empty. There's definitely something.
There's
Something in it. He sniffs it and like, what is this?
I don't know, man.
It's an unmarked bottle.
Sounds like it should be in an industrial park. We're taking particles off a boat.
I think it's mostly vinegar by now, but you know, you
You enjoy. You can
get
enjoy.
to a point where your tongue is just numb anyway.
You enjoy that.
As he
I'm
passes
okay.
it back, I intercept it and I just like place it under the table. Out of sight, out of mind.
Okay. It's good to see you, Bill. I missed you a lot, buddy.
You feel someone patting you.
Turn.
You see a glowing hand waving behind you. Like him sitting at the table next to Bill says,
Yeah.
Second stands up. Your bed
Yeah, it's a good idea.
kind of takes you under one arm, pats your back while there's patting side of your back.
Detour bathroom.
They nod and they take you bathroom.
Yeah.
I want to go to the kitchen and get a fatty piece of. That's the cure-all for,
Especially when
in my opinion.
Well,
My character's like,
it'll help.
yeah. Basically, I'm gonna make you eat this before you fall asleep.
It's just like a greasy
hand.
It's like a bunch of pork belly. It's like
Yeah. So I'm doing that while they're dropping off to the restroom.
goes
you
to
just
sleep.
a cube of
Greasy and
wagyu
gross.
This is something I've done fairly often.
Still imagine it's just hands off.
Alright, I just imagine him like, I just want to go back and eat it.
And I give him some water. And I just like watch him do this until like he passes out, and then I put it away.
Okay, I'm probably not quite that drunk.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think so, but
This is still something I do where I get you a fatty, a salty, and water.
what?
A fatty, a salty, and some water.
Okay.
Sometimes it's all the same. A fatty, salty water.
Don't like that. Not even a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, I like it slightly more now that it also has some.
Now that the DM's given it a
Electrolytes.
simpler name than fatty, salty water.
Yeah. I usually try to get meat, just because my character thinks that's the better.
Yeah.
Of course.
It works better.
Well, that's what I always work with halflings.
Broth is basically. It's just
It's
meat
meat
juice.
juice.
Actually, it's more like a bone juice, but you can have meat.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're going to bed.
yeah.
Are you guys doing anything else tonight?
I just study.
If I can sneak out of my
Yeah, you can sneak. Especially if you're turning into a bird. It might have been tight other. Turning into a bird, you can get. Perfect sounds good. We have 20 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. Wanting to move on to the next step or nodding doesn't. Just there.
Yeah, well,
Well, that's the- that's the next step.
Yeah, we can have that
Yeah.
next. Yeah,
Have the next
be
step right now?
How we close out the night.
Sounds good. Well, in that case, I'm going to turn the next part over to you.
All right. So are we in separate rooms right now?
Separate rooms, but he's awake in the
I'm in like the shared room
common.
of
Okay.
our secret.
Remember how there's like a big table-ish kitchen room? Else can be, and
Yeah.
then you guys have like a little sitting room.
Gotcha.
He's in the sitting room, and you're in your. It might have.
And my door is probably open, just because I never closed it. You wanted to make sure that I ate, drank, vented.
And as soon as you were passed out, I went and gathered it up and put it away.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
Um.
Although it's pretty.
So
Pretty late at night, probably around 1 in the morning.
yeah, at this point.
A nightmare.
Hmm.
Plague.
Hmm. Yeah, so you see Cirrus start kind of tossing and turning and you hear him very clearly say Layla, you can fit through the window and wait. Oh, that's so hot. And Cirrus rolls out of his bed and screams like the most blood-curdling, like scared child scream you have ever heard a grown man.
Like the
Yeah.
first time in a month, like I draw my blade, and it's just like I like spin around, and I'm like ready to fight something in his room, and I'm like, oh, and then I put it away and I rush to his side.
Huddled on the floor, blanket wrapped around him, soaked in sweat. Yeah. Oh wait, just breathing so heavy. Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. I guess
you crying.
Oh,
Probably wander over to the door. Like, stop it.
sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. You're the one who.
I grab like a handkerchief and I like dab it with, and like, are you feeling okay? It's
It must have been the oysters, or maybe the second bottle of something.
the boat varnish. I'm gonna go grab you.
Maybe it's been talking about thinking that all the guards in the they look exactly they look exactly like every single one of them looks like they could have been on Garraway's. All look like they could have been the ones who burned Portia. I didn't think it would be this much. Didn't think. Thought that doing this proactively, getting one at him, thought it would help. See all these soldiers, and I'm just a little boy again, and they have so many swords. And I just
I was like, Arnold.
gotta find. Just gotta find Duval. Almost Arroway Duval. There's. How could they make a butcher like that? What?
Have you half of it glorified war and death? If I could have half of those people come to my aid, probably rid the world of all the men. One issue though is having them not. You know, I'll do whatever you need. Find this guy. He's been a good friend to me the past half decade.
Must have been. Well, All right, you help me with my monster. I'll help you with.
Here, I got you some new bedding.
I
But it touching.
I'm gonna have to go to the restroom first. That's probably where we make the cut.
That sounds like a good cut to me. With that, we will conclude our session. You have something?
I just.
Oh, not spicy water, right?
No, like actual water.
I'm gonna have to go off this spice. Probably.
I imagine this is how it kind of goes every once in a while.
For
Bender, and it's like,
with that little bit of information for our viewers, or future viewers, or just ourselves.
Yeah.
With that, we're going to end it there. Thanks, everyone. Are now in the city. 2 weeks, but look forward to it. Bye.